it's really a remarkable time to be able to have so much creativity in terms of what we do. I mean, if you were working in journalism 20, 30 years ago and you were working for a television show, this is your format. This is how you do it. You've got 2 minutes to tell your story, and that's it. You don't get to go out and play and try and invent a new way to tell a story. You're stuck with that. And same in print. And now all of a sudden, we've got this amazing opportunity to kind of, the sky's the limit. What can you come up with?
Accuracy of language is vital when new foundations are being laid. And at the moment, there's a lot of building, but very little foundation. And we all know what happens to buildings without foundations. They have a tendency to fall down. And I think it's fantastic that the World Press Photo have seen the importance of having this discussion and this debate to try and establish those foundations.
The forces of creative destruction are really kind of changing the industry right now for people that are doing multimedia and journalism as a whole generally. And I think it's really great to have the opportunity to come together with people that are also working in the field to kind of exchange ideas and get a sense of what other people are doing and kind of learn about best practices and learn about how people are dealing with a really shifting multimedia landscape.
The landscape changes a lot. And you need to exactly know, where you be placing your bets, technology-wise, so that eventually not only you succeed, but you're able to get enough traction for other people to join in. And I'm saying developers, and I'm talking about producers.
People need to be, need to be innovative, need to be looking at changes, need to take risks.
对于单幅照片来讲，它必须得更有想象力，视觉表达更加的独特，然后它必须能拍到更加与众不同的画面。然后对于视频来讲，它必须能一个人能更好的能讲好这样一个故事，能。
You become the publisher, you become the promoter and the marketer, so everybody has to have a very wide, range of skills.
You might try, to get it out there as a content producer, but what we've seen, it doesn't work. It's either you get found. Obviously you need to be out there, but you need to probably be lucky enough. So one of these influencers finds you and talks about you.
Every generation, every era, there's going to be some new technological force that has, kind of gone through society, no matter what that is. Now, obviously, that's happening at a much quicker level.
We have to prepare the students for the future. So we look at the industry with slightly into the crystal ball and try to guess what's going to happen in the future so we can prepare the students for the future.
These kids are amped up, man. They're just fired up because they see that the tools are there and the distribution is there, and there's kind of nothing stopping them from starting their own, from rolling their own publication. And this is what we are trying to codify for them, is create a way for them to say, you're 20, you don't need huge revenues, you're passionate about storytelling, go. Here's the tools, here's a framework to go do it. And I think you're going to see great success in this space because there's no fear. They're not afraid of what might happen. They just want to do it.
What's interesting about them is that they don't have any of the pigeonholes or the barriers that people perhaps who are slightly older, above 35, who have known analog and now had to transfer into digital around 6 years or so ago, 5-6 years ago perhaps, are now faced with another challenge which perhaps they're not willing to accept.
I can imagine that it would be terrifying for some people that have been in various industries doing it for 30 years and whatnot, and all of a sudden, everything has changed and you never expected to have to deal with these kind of transformations. And then you see, younger people coming along who know how to do all this.
There's a young generation that is part of the social networking conversation, probably a little more entrepreneurial than we were when we were coming out of school because they're teaching that now. I think that's a really important element. And I think those guys, the young guys, need to realize that they need this other group to help collaborate and partner and do the caliber of journalism that we're talking about. Just because you know how to, run a video camera and Flash and you've written some HTML doesn't mean you're a storyteller. Here's a pencil, you're a great writer. No, it doesn't work that way.
I think that a lot of the investment that's going on in multimedia continues to be from, so-called legacy media companies that are investing, some of their profits in making sure that they're developing expertise digitally.
The biggest challenge right now, I think, is it's twofold. One is training. I think it's a new space. We can build upon the vertical excellence that we have as visual storytellers, but we have to build on that. We have to add new skills to that. And so getting training, getting, educated about how to do that, and then doing it a bunch, because very few of us picked up a camera and made good pictures right away. You got to do it and fail and redo it and fail and, go through that process. So certainly, I think education, training, time to hone this as a skill is really high on my list of what our big challenges are. And of course, the other one obviously is financial.
I don't see multimedia or digital storytelling as destroying legacy media in some way. I think what I see more is that technological developments lead to changes in storytelling means and distribution means and the way that the audience consumes stories, and that people who want to tell stories need to adapt to that environment and help shape it.
As a general look into the future, I see there's enormous challenges that are ahead for the traditional media organizations. They've been quite conservative up until this point in terms of developing platforms and developing advertisers, whereas we've seen the visual departments of those media organizations really invest in good quality, and they've proved that they can produce as good as any other place in the world in terms of the content. What they haven't seen is the same investment in time and money into the platforms that they have and the advertising and the revenue sources that might go with that.
所以它综合这几方面来说，我最近不是太客观。但是这不是说这个传统媒体做多媒体就没有商业模式，不要卖给我们嘛，那个卖给我们就可以啊。他们还是思路要开阔一点，然后当然希望他们的老板能够放水养鱼，不要那么着急，还能够给他们回报期能够长一点，放手让他们先做。
I think the future would be in the app-based ecology, where they will be using iPads or Android tablets, or maybe the later Microsoft Surfaces, where the content lives on the tablet itself.
My hope is still really that the interactive formats are going to develop more. It's a big passion of mine, and I think the reason why I love it so much is that it's where we are defining really a new form of storytelling, a form of stories that can't exist on previous formats. So you can't have an interactive in a cinema or on a TV screen, and you can't have it on print. So I think it's really exciting to develop these new formats.
关于摄影记者的未来，我认为 Multimedia 不是唯一的一个解决方案。对于摄影记者来讲，他必须要讲好故事，不论是在平面的故事还是在视频的故事，他都必须要做出足够吸引人的这样的一个故事形式。
This idea that photojournalism is dead, well, you can't kill photojournalism. You can't kill something that we will practice for free because we love it, because we have to.
Breaking news will always be breaking news. And give it to me easy, fast, simple text, couple of images, and probably a video. I mean, that doesn't change.
It's kind of, frightening too, because while the sky's the limit, it's also falling. And so, people are worried, obviously, about where the money is going to come for all of this. But at core, I'm really a believer in journalism. I'm a believer in news, and I think we're definitely going to make it through this. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm really glad to be living in this time while we're trying to figure all this out. I mean, I think multimedia journalism is just incredibly exciting.
There's still a group at the top tier that's ready for this, and there's a bunch of kids coming out that are going to change journalism. They're going to really light it up, and it's going to be exciting to watch.